El Trap Supreme.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you have chosen to watch this second episode with my interview with Dr. Donken. How to become an A student, interview with he got 4.78, and I'm sure you've watched the first episode and you are excited to go on to the second episode. So let's carry on.
Okay, so the fifth point, It's actually very important because we all do it. I call it legitimate excuses. When you try to do something and you eventually don't get it done, you're going to have excuses. They're going to be very logical, they're going to be very acceptable, they're going to be very reasonable. Everybody that hears it are going to accept that, yes, this is actually an excuse. But in the real sense, you just made yourself feel better and you didn't achieve what you wanted to achieve. So for instance, I can say, okay, I'm meant to be at work by 8 a.m. and I came around 8:15. My legitimate excuse is that whilst I was coming, there was a serious road jam. Obviously, I don't have any control over the road jam. It's very much legitimate. But I arrived here 8:15 and I'm still late. It's totally understandable. So for instance, now academically, let's use this example. You wanted to read. You wanted to study. They took light. You didn't have any backup power. So you couldn't study. That's absolutely legitimate.
Yes.
Absolutely legitimate.
So wait, you have to say that. So yeah, solve that one.
There was no light. Absolutely legitimate. But then what happened at the end of the day was that you didn't still study. So the fact that you said there was no light was cool. You made yourself feel good. It was not your fault. But now what I'm trying to drive at is, even if you have legitimate excuses, don't lose your focus or take your eyes off your goal, your consistency goal. You want to study these hours per day. Anything that makes you not to study these hours per day, no matter how legitimate it is, shouldn't just make you feel relaxed, but make you understand that how do I cover up for it. So that's the key thing. There were days that there was no light, and you couldn't study. So what did you do the next day that there was light? How did you cover up for it? How did you cover up during the weekend? And then when you have activities that you know that, okay, are not absolutely essential, but you're trying to cook up excuses because of those activities, it simply means you're not having your eyes fixed on your goal. So I really had to ask myself, okay, I want 5.0. What's keeping me from getting them? Time with this, I love reading football news. So time with football news. Okay, the legitimate excuses. I'm not just.
I'm going to hit you on that. I'm going to hit you on that. I'm going to hit you on that.
I'm just going to stay on academics, so I should be able to read something once in a while.
No, you are not a football fan. What club do you support? What club do you support?
I would say I'm a Ronaldo fan. So wherever
Ronaldo is, he's definitely not a football. He doesn't watch football.
I know about football. So because of Ronaldo, I'm not really no a football fan anymore. But yes, I was really into it.
Are you sure you're a Ronaldo fan?
Absolutely.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Where's your hijab? Those Islamic guys usually wear.
Since he went
do you have the
since he went to the Saudi
do you have the jersey?
Since he went to Saudi League, I gave up on football.
Really? Because I'm a Messi fan though. And I love Messi. The guy is brilliant. Don't let us start the argument here.
You shouldn't.
Because if we start here, we are going to change this entire topic.
Totally.
Alright, no problem.
Okay,
so the reason why I just checked that in is, you've talked about a lot about the essentials to becoming an A student. But the thing I'm feeling is like you have other areas of your life too. You have other things that you do for fun apart from academics. You have other things that need your attention. You have family, you have a relationship. I'm getting you,
just
bro.
Always want to get there.
You have family, you have a relationship, you have, I believe you are committed in your church, or you go to church as much as you can. There are other areas. So I'm just wondering, because I have those other areas in my life, so I definitely will not gravitate to your kind of GP. I was not even first 3 best in my kindergarten. I'm here. Like, we are both here. Sorry, you just always oppress me. All right, so how? Was there a time that academics made you lose focus on these other areas? Like relationship and family and other things, or your spiritual life and all that? Was there any time that academics was so choking that you lost hold of that part of your life?
Absolutely. There were times where academics was so choking and I lost hold of some major parts of my life. So sometimes academics will be so choking that I couldn't make it to weekly services. Yes, I couldn't make it to weekly services. Most of the times I couldn't make it to weekly services. And one of the things that kept ringing in my mind was the fact that, okay, you want this goal and then you're struggling in this other area. So I had to make it clear that, okay, how am I going to balance this up? I am not making it to weekly service because most of the time classes end 5 p.m. Weekly service starts 5. And then probably before I get home is sometimes 6:30, 6 around that time in the evening. So it was a bit difficult balancing it with church activities. So I had to understand that, okay, my weekly services is going to be when I know we finish classes early, I'll be there. But after my studies, I'm going to stay focused. Or during the breaks, I'm going to be attending my weekly services consistently. Yes, I knew I had to make such arrangements and make such plans, speak to my pastor, make him understand that, okay, this is why I can't be showing up so consistently on my weekdays, and this is what's going on. Other areas I really had to be affected was my health. My health had to be affected because you can't be I was so consistent at doing all the things I wanted to do that I always used to forget food. I forget water. I forget going on food and water. Sometimes I just go to school around like 7 a.m. and from 7 a.m. to when I leave that school, I won't take water, I won't take food. So gradually that started to cause issues for me. So I knew I had to start learning how to balance my health through. So there were times that I also tried to do just 4-5 hours of sleep. Since I said I don't read at night, so I tried sleeping from just 12 to 4 a.m., 12 to 5 a.m. I realized I walked through my day with intense headaches. So having all of this, the most important thing about all of these things is when you know yourself and you understand what you're doing and understand what you're pursuing, you will see these issues, but as you continue to go, you continue to learn how to solve them. Because I feel the veterinary journey or the academic journey goes beyond just the grades. It's a part of self-discovery. You gradually get to know what you need to do to get what you need to get academically. And that's just
word.
And that's just what I had to learn to balance everything. So yes, I had those struggles, and I had to know how to make commitments, explain to people, okay, people that I had to be talking to frequently, relationship-wise, I had to talk to them that, okay, this was going on. Communication may be a little bit difficult, but
when I have you, know that I have you in my heart. So you're the most important person to me.
You're saying it.
No. I understand.
Okay. The communication thing is very important. I was horrible with communication. I hardly call people. I hardly pick calls. You call me, I won't pick because I feel, okay, this call is going to take like 30 minutes of my time. It's going to take like 15 minutes of my time. So I'll probably message you sometime later. But I feel that's bad attitude. That's bad. That's a very, very horrible attribute. That's at 300 level. So I knew I had to, rather than just being academically sound, you're also going to have to try to be a people person. So I started studying books on communication, studying books on leadership, studying books on how to be a people person, which encompasses all these 3 things. So that book really helped me, and it made me understand that people want to feel a certain way around you, and you want to feel a certain way around people. So if you treat people like trash because of a certain goal, it's wrong. You just have to learn how to balance it. You can make people feel loved by spending 1 minute with them. Depends on the energy you communicate and what you say and how you just want to make them feel around you. And you can actually spend an hour talking rubbish, talking a lot of things.
Not even giving attention.
Not even giving attention around people, and you make them feel terrible and horrible. So I've got to realize that being a people person and developing other areas of my life is not essentially about giving all my hours. It's about ensuring that the little time I give to it counts.
You know why I asked this question? It's because, thank God, I'm a vet interviewing you. You know, I have other areas of my life. I have other people in my class also that struggle with different things. For instance, the best graduate student in my class had a communication problem. He could not communicate. The guy didn't have a girlfriend to finish school, and he's not young. He's not a young guy. You know what we did in class? My class is very funny and loving. We will set him up. You know, we call him ATP. You know, ATP energy, but he doesn't have energy. You know, so we set him up. What we do is that we call up a lady and tell him to talk to the girl. You understand that kind of thing? Over time, he began to talk well. He began to say very, very nasty things also, which we also joked about, you know, that Then other people had businesses. I had someone in my class that had businesses. I had businesses too in school. All right. So other people had leadership position. I had leadership position in school, but there were a lot of things, and I see that it's very hard for a vet student to be effective in other things and still, you understand?
Academically sound.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
It's a mindset. Like I was trying to explain in all I was saying. If you believe that every other thing is a distraction to what you want to get, you are going to most likely be that way. But then when you begin to study wide and understand that life is not just being academically sound and then being poor in communication, being poor in leadership, being poor in people management, being poor in teamwork, and in other areas of your own life like maintaining your health, you will come to realize that at the end of the day you are deficient. You're rich, but you're deficient. So it's something that you find out as you go in veterinary school. Most of the academically sound people get to learn that as they are progressing. They realize that I'm too one-sided. So it's not like every other thing is a distraction. It simply means that's not gotten a little bit of my attention to develop it. Now, if you feel that way during the semester, you could say, okay, let me finish the semester, and then the break during the semester, you engage in studying books about people management, engage in studying books about leadership, watch people that teach about these things. There are people, like I said, you're not the first person to want to be balanced all around and still be very sound academically. You're not the first. There are people that have been there. There are people that have put materials out there on how they did it. It's your job to find it and study it and how to change your mindset, that it's not every single moment you're meant to be on your books to be exceptional.
Okay.
If one thing I've realized is there are days I could force reading, shut out every other thing, nothing makes sense. I could read hours and I'm staring at the book, and you could possibly try reading and you're just one page after you just read one page after.
No, let me tell you the worst feeling. The worst feeling is to have read 3 pages and then ask yourself, what did I just read?
Exactly.
Nothing.
Nothing. So it's you timing when you know that actively your brain is going to assimilate.
Yeah.
And let me use the word consecrate. Consecrate that time. For instance, for me, if I wake up from sleep and I figured if I sleep, if it's 30 minutes, 1 hour, and I wake up from sleep and I just have an energy drink, that's if I get an energy drink, whatever I'm going to read from that moment onwards for the next 2-3 hours, I am going to assimilate it quickly. Now that's studying myself. I figured that out. So it means that every other time I have, before that time I'm going to sleep or after that time, I could use it to work on my health, work on my relationship, work on my communication, work on my leadership, study books and get better. But there are some people that have the mindset that, okay, they don't really understand. It stems from really understanding yourself. They don't really understand themselves. So they just get back straight to the book. You're on the book, just ensuring you're reading the book, ensuring you're reading the book, ensuring you're reading the book. And then you tell yourself after 6 hours, I have read.
No.
I have
you know one thing. So before we give the premium content, because I know you're supposed to write a book on this story. You're supposed to write a book. Listen, I'll sell for you. Listen, I'm supposed to write a book on it, on how to become an A student. Before you release all the premium content, let's just rush one more point because we are going out of time. I know that if you allow the viewers to continue, they are definitely going to want to listen to everything and all that. But we will not release all the content for free. You understand what I'm saying? So let's take one more.
I'm going to be I'll merge 2 points in one.
Okay.
And that will be positive influence.
Okay.
And resilience.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, most of the times, when you talk of positive influence, people think gather like 5 intelligent friends around your life. Don't move with unintelligent guys. Don't move with people that are not getting 4 points. And that's not the truth. I believe most of my friends and most of the people I relate to were people that were not so academically sound, but were really sound in other areas. But one thing I mean by positive influence is, what do they say around you? What energy do they communicate? Because there are some people that, even though they are academically sound, they communicate negative energy. They make you feel it's impossible to pass. Have you been reading for a test or an exam before and someone is like, no matter what somebody does, you will never pass Professor this test. No matter what you do, sir, I've read this material 5 times. It's a waste of time. You will never be able to pass this. And so at the end of the day, it's not just the fact that you have people that are not so academically sound. You can have people that are not academically sound, but they dedicate themselves to the little they can to get what they get. And they are very good in leadership, they are very good in business, they are very good in other things, and you separate yourself from such people, so you are just going to be around people with 4.4. So you're just going to be only academically inclined, and sometimes you don't even have the positive influence to develop. Most people that do that sometimes don't even become academically good. Because sometimes people that are really good don't want to share their secrets. Yeah. They don't want to tell you. Definitely. They really don't want you to know why they are passing more than you. Why they are passing more than you for you to come and pass them. They don't want that. So they are going to most likely either pretend and keep you at the edge and just find things to say, and you feel you're in a company, but you're really on your own, but you don't really know. So it's wise to have people with positive energy and positive influence. That is, they really want development. They want to be better. They might want to just be better in business, but you can pick up that energy and apply it to academics. There's a friend of mine really good in understanding the financial markets, developed interest. We talk. So whatever I know about, when the coin thing was going on, whatever I know about coins, came from him. So when I interact with him, he's going to talk about coins. So I know about coins. I'm not just animal production related. Public health related. You give me that. And then I see. And then I definitely know. And then I see the energy. So if someone can be dedicated to doing this in this area, why don't I get so dedicated to doing this in this area too? And then I apply the same dedication. How about the resilience part? So the resilience part is this. You may do all these things I just said, and for the first few times, you won't get what you expect. A resilient person won't give up. A resilient person will keep pushing, will keep trying to understand his or her peculiarities. Like I said, it's a part of self-discovery. So when you see a bad result after trying everything someone says and you stop, it's not because what the person said is wrong. It's not because what you've read is wrong. It's because you didn't push it through. You didn't push it further. You didn't try to know further. There's always something peculiar to yourself. So another thing is, sometimes people see a breakthrough, they get what they would desire. Like, my goal this semester is to get a 4.5 or a 5.0. They see it and then they relax. Was that the goal all along? Was it to just get it once or was it to stay on it or retain it? So it takes resilience to actually go through the emotional tussles, the war of I did so much to get so little most of the times. Let me chip something. When you talk about resilience, it makes me remember my 500 level where you had 5.0. That was when I had my worst results in vet school. I actually think 500 level is the hardest level in vet school. No. 400 level is the hardest for us. 500 level was just chill. I'm telling you. 500 level, my friends had very good results. And these are people that know that I actually am maybe a little bit more gifted. You understand? I can literally read 3 hours to an exam and pass. Do you understand? I can just rush it up. Do you get? And it makes me overconfident sometimes. But the thing was that during those times I had personal things to deal with. I mean, I was in massive debt. Massive. And I'm telling you massive for my age. So I was emotionally down. And I had like, how many receipts? I had like 4 receipts and 1 carryover. And I called my pastor that and said, Pastor, I'm giving up on vet. And he said, in 500 level, you must be very stupid. you know, encouraged me. He just said, you better go and read your book and get out of here. And that was what he said, because he also finished from vet. So he understood it. Then later, after some time, he now told me that he had a friend that had receipts in all his courses because he was also going through an emotional trauma. So I just had that to chip that in vet school also, we'll go through times that we have like things we are dealing with personally and things that we can't share with our classmates, and we still have to pass. And your lecturers don't care. Not that they don't care, but they don't
they can't favor you.
They can't favor you even though you have such legitimate excuses of dealing with emotional stuff.
Right.
And so that's where it comes down to what you really want and if you really want it. And also it boils down to consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency isn't just doing something every day. It's doing something when you feel like or when you don't feel like, when it's comfortable, when it's not comfortable. So if you're dealing with emotional things, I really like people to talk. Find someone trustworthy and converse with. It may not solve the issue, but
at least
having a way of really, that's why it's also good to have positive influence. You have people that have quality and positive energy around you that are trustworthy, you could relate, and you find out that sometimes even the issue you're dealing with, when you discuss it with someone that has such energy, they make it look so little.
No, you yourself will realize that you're being babish.
Like, what is this?
Like, what did I just say? This thing is easy. You understand what I'm trying to say?
So, yes, there are so many things and there are so many situations, but I've really come to understand that there are some things that I can deal with, I can do or I can handle, and there are some things I can't handle. I leave those things to God. I trust God. One major part of my academic work is my belief in God. So things I know I can handle and deal with emotionally, things I know I can solve, like you said, you were in massive debt. If I know I can solve it, I will solve it. But if I can't solve it, I leave it to God and I trust Him. And I discuss it with who I need to discuss. But then, whatever I know I can do to get what I want and also get out of the situation, I will do it with all my might.
Amazing.
So, but when you now shut down what you can do because of your feeling, because of how you're feeling over what you have no control about, it simply means your life just paused. Like you're losing both on what you can get and what you can use to solve, and the whole situation just becomes messy.
That's amazing. So it's been an amazing time with Dr. Donken. I mean, the only reason I want to go back to vet school now is because I can't go through that trauma again. I mean, I think I have enough Arsenal in my box to actually win the Champions League. Which they won't. They won't. You are not an Arsenal fan. You are not doing
no.
And I think most of our viewers can proudly say they are Arsenal fans.
Nobody can.
Nobody can. All right, so thank you so much for joining us on Live with Outliers, and I'm sure you learned a lot. And next episode is going to be even more beautiful, and we are not going to tell you what we're doing next episode. So join us next time, same time. Make sure you follow, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Thank you. Peace out.
Thank you. Peace out.